Good morning, everyone. Um, Happy to be here. I'm excited to show you guys some of the new things that we are going to be having in the most upcoming database update. So the very first thing that I will be showing you guys is going to be the increased job number length. So we have had a lot of people want this implemented. So as it currently sits, and you guys maybe you only have 11 characters inside this job area. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We've actually increased it to 12 so that you have more flexibility in how you want to, name any of your jobs and things like that. So that's pretty much the first thing that we have on this upcoming update. The second topic I'd like to talk about is the ability to actually export your item master list to Excel. That's something that we didn't have implemented into the system yet. So the way that you could get to that is going to be in your tables. Go down to your item master list here. Go ahead and open that. And then you can expand these and however you would like. But you just hit right click anywhere in the white area and then you can export that to Excel. We added the data fields and things like that that you can click and drag over wherever you would like. You can map it specifically however you would want, or you can just hit map by order, which is going to copy and paste them all over, include header rows, and then start the export. Okay. And then last but not least, under this category, I wanted to show you guys probably one of the more prominent upgrades that we've done here. So we actually give you the ability to tie labor and equipment default areas to specific owners. So if you're doing work with a lot of different owners and maybe you forget to change your default sometimes, when you go into your job menu and your job details here and you assign a specific owner, it will automatically update that. So it's going to be over here. When you assign it and then put it as the default, it will update them. So the way that you would do that is you can go to your tables, go down to your owners, open those owners up. Let's say I have one called SharpeSoft. And then you can change the tax rates or anything that you want. You go ahead and double click in on this. And then under job defaults here, you can actually assign them to have a specific labor area and a specific equipment area. So if I say that I want it to be private rates, let's see, we want it to be DOT rate and then the private rates, you could hit OK, and that's going to save them to be your defaults. And then when you would bring that in to a new job, the private rates and the DOT rate would be the default for the starting job. Okay, and then I will pause right here for any questions on anything that I just showed.
Just a reminder, you can post in the Q&A portion of the webinar if you do have a question. Looks like we haven't anything come through yet, Jonathan. You can always ask questions too about something that we moving on. We'll go back to any topics if you need to, but we'll go ahead and move on to the next section. But if you do have any questions, you can go ahead and post those in the Q&A. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so the next part of this webinar is going to be covering the calculation menu within a bid item window. So we just opened our bid item window here. I'm going to go to this 200 millimeter PVC DR18. So we're inside the detail screen, within our bid window, and we have our calculation menu up top. So the first one that I'm going to be showing is going to be trying to get kind of like a fast estimate of how much of this 3/4 inch crush rock would I need without having to do like the trench profiler. Because the trench profiler does what this calculation window does better, but it takes a little bit longer to do. So if you click the calculation menu up here, you can go to area calculation, and then you can calculate, if it's 1,500 lineal feet, what the width is. We'll just say maybe the width is 3 foot wide, and then we're only doing 1.5 foot of this specific crushed rock. And then maybe the conversion weight is, 1.25. There's no waste and shrinkage or anything. We want it to load by weight. And then we can do cubic yards here, and then we can hit OK. It's just calculating everything out right here by the weight based on the conversion weight that you are providing. And it's going to calculate that based on the information that we provided, that we're going to need 312.5 tons of this aggregate. Okay. Now you can actually do that. If you just want to quickly find out how much native that you're going to need, you don't have to tie it specifically to the 3/4 inch crush rock. You could just put in, the full height of, the trench. No conversion weight because it's just going to be your native. You can put whatever waste and shrinkage and fluff you would want to in there, and then you can do area by volume to find out how many cubic yards that you're going to be excavating out of that. So there's multiple ways to use this tool, just depending on the situation that you're in. But I like to kind of quickly figure out how much crush rock that I would need for, my trench. The other thing that you can find in there in the calculation menu is going to be your equipment hauling calculator. Okay. Now it kind of falls hand in hand with the area calculation, because with this equipment hauling calculator, you can really figure out how much either your native that you're going to be taking out, or maybe you're talking about how many tons or how many cubic yards of whatever the crushed rock is going to be when you bring it in, or it could be actually maybe your mobilization. So, how many pieces of equipment are you hauling? There's a bunch of different ways that you can kind of use this calculator. But for now, I'll say that we're going to be bringing in this 3/4 inch crush rock. So we have 312.5 tons. All right. So I'll say that the equipment capacity is probably going to be 10. This will be assumed as tons. You could do it by cubic yards if you wanted to calculate that out. If it's, equipment, you could say that it holds 1 or 2 pieces of equipment and stuff like that. The amount to haul would be the amount that we have here. So 312.5 tons. Right now, we only have 1 piece of equipment. So we could change that number, and it's going to drastically reduce our time. But we'll say maybe the distance to haul in one direction is, maybe it's 10 miles. The average speed loaded maybe is 45, and then 55 when it's empty. Load time takes, whatever it may be. I'll just say like 5 minutes. Unload time probably takes like 1.5. If you're just dumping it out, and then maybe it's another 5 minutes for whatever you want to, maybe traffic and stuff like that. And you can actually add additional time items and kind of have it itemized here if you wanted to, but I'm just kind of going to leave it like this. It'll say based on the information that I'm providing to haul 312.5 tons at 10 tons per trip, that it's going to take 1.5 days to get this done, or 18 hours. So if I say, okay, well, actually, I want 2 trucks doing this, it's going to drastically reduce the time. So I can get this done with 2 trucks in about 9 hours. So you do have the ability to sort of manipulate that. So if you go to 3 trucks, you want to really get this done as fast as you can. It's going to bring it down to about 6 hours. And maybe that's good enough. Maybe that's about where you want to be. So you go, okay. Now there's a lot of information down here. You can see like the total distance in miles, the round trip, how long it's going to take. And then we have like the hourly unit cost based on the equipment that we're using, the cost it would be per unit. And then we have cost per mile, production rate, and so forth. We can hit okay. and that's going to automatically assign all of the quantities and the amount of time that we did in the equipment calculator. All right, that is it for this specific section. So I will again pause for any questions or anything of that sort.
Hey, Jonathan, we did have one come in to us. The question is, can we edit items in the item master on the fly?
Um, yeah, so if you go to tables and item masters in general, you can click down in here and then edit. Um, oh, sorry. So, inside the actual screen, no. So you wouldn't be able to edit in here. It would be, you could drag it in and then edit it on the fly inside the job. So for instance, if I were to just right click and go to insert item master and I bring in this storm sewer pipe item private rate, it's going to bring it in and then you could edit it immediately. So like if I just didn't need that supervisor anymore, you could delete it out. So you can edit, I guess on the fly is depends on what you mean by that specifically. If you're just bringing it in, you absolutely can edit it, but you can't edit it inside of the table itself, the item master table. You could just resave it though. Once you have changed this to whatever you want, you could right click it, save it as an item master, um, and then just override it with the same name, and it'll update it for you.
Perfect. Okay. That was going to be, I think, my follow-up question is they can edit it out like you showed and then save that back and over the top of that item master or create a new item master if it's a new item, correct?
Yes, correct. Yeah. So the new one that would save would no longer have the supervisor in there because it saves
Yep.
as is. So yeah, you could save it as the old item or as a newer item if you wanted to. Absolutely.
Great. Thank you. Haven't seen any other questions come in, so I think we can move to topic 3.
Okay. All right. So topic 3 is going to be on alternate items and creating bid packages. So many of you probably already know what alternate items are or what that means. But I like to think of it as if you are building a house and the owner, whoever's asking you to build it, is going to ask you how much a wraparound porch would be, or maybe it's asking, how much would it cost if you used a different type of material for the paving or the concrete, whatever it may be that isn't necessarily a part of the main bid, but they want to see how much it costs. So what you can do to do that is, let's say these top 2 items right here, my groups, are a part of the main bid. And this one, I actually want to be an alternate item. Okay. So what we would do is we could right click on it, and then you could go to edit group/alternate, or in this case, we could go insert group/alternate. And then it's the same thing that you would do to create a normal group, except we just click alternate group here. So I'll just say this is alternate 1. All right. And then if you wanted to use this alternate group as a part of the bonding basis, you could click that. Okay, but you don't have to. You can hit OK here. And now it's going to be highlighted in yellow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a copy of this item and then bring it down here and then delete this group, as we don't need that anymore. Now this is going to be our new alternate item. So this would be the main bid, and then this would be our alternate. And then what we would need to do to be able to show this information on a proposal would be to build a bid package, because there could be multiple alternates. So I could do another one, say alternate 2, insert group/alternate, make this an alternate group, call it alt 2. Okay. And then maybe I just create another copy of this one and drag it down here. So now we have 2 different alternates. If we just run the proposal regularly, it will show the entire bid with alternate 1 and alternate 2 and having their own sort of, you know, sub totals for those. It just kind of shows the whole thing. But what you can do if you want it to be more specific is if we were to go to our rounding sheet here, and then I'm going to auto round really quick because these are showing no cost. So now that they have their cost in there, this is the icon that you'll be looking for. And this is going to be to create your bid packages. Okay, it's just the manila envelope with like a little question mark icon here. You click that, it's most likely going to be empty like this. So then you would want to create your bid packages. So your first bid package could be base plus one. And that's just base plus alternate one. All right. And then maybe you wanted to do base, plus two to where it is alternate two plus your base bid. And then you could also do base plus one and two, right? So that you have three different packages depending on how you wanted to look at it. And now we need to assign them. So we would double click in here. And then we're going to hit select. Or we are going to hit the space bar on our keyboard to highlight alternate one and then hit select. So now that has the base bid plus alternate one tied to it. You can go to the second one and do the exact same thing. So left click here, space bar on your keyboard to highlight it, hit select. So now that is number two. And then you can do base plus one and two, and then highlight both of them and hit select. And now you have three separate bid packages saved. And then you could run proposals for, one or two or one and two. So the way that you would do that is once you are ready to go, you can go to your report tree, double click your proposal, and then now it actually has the question over here in the selection options, which bid package would you like to run? So we would double click that, hit whichever one you want. I'll just do bid, base plus one and two, hit OK. And then now that locks in which packages that you've chosen, and it gives you the base bid with alternate one and alternate two. All right. And then if you wanted to run, a different proposal, you could just go back to your bid packages and choose a different one. So I only want it to be base plus two. Hit OK, hit OK. So now it runs the proposal and then only alternate two. And then with that, I will pause for any questions.
All right, we're looking like nothing coming in at this time, Jonathan. So again, anybody can continue to submit questions all the way up to the end, and we'll take whatever time we need to answer any that you have. But looks like we can go on to our final topic.
Alrighty. Well, our final topic is going to be kind of two different sections. It's going to be fairly short, but also a little in depth here. So what we're going to be working on is going to be within our F1 feature. You can bring up, the help menu absolutely anywhere that you need to be. So if you have a question about, let's say, bid packages, and you are in your rounding sheet and you open up the bid package window, you can actually hit F1 key in there, and it's going to bring up a menu and a help topic that will show you and tell you all of the information about pretty much everything that you can do within that window. Okay. But another thing that you can do, which is actually what we're going to be talking about today, is we can search. So we have a search function in here, and I wanted to show you guys the keyboard shortcuts. So I'm just going to type in the word keyboard, and then you can search all words. So it's going to be all words within the topic, or you can search specific. You can change how many results per page if you want. And then I'm just going to hit submit. And then this right here is going to be what I wanted to kind of cover today. Is going to be your keyboard shortcuts, or also known as hotkeys. So once we click this, it's going to bring up this menu, and it will have pretty much every keyboard shortcut that you can use inside of the SharpeSoft estimator. Some of them are going to be like window controls, so actually controlling the window function, inside here, maximizing, minimizing. You can do bid items. It could be used within the tables, like Shift plus F5 can jump to the active job if you need to get there. Um, Insert button almost always works whether you're inside, a bid item window or you're trying to create a new record in your tables. The delete also works, pretty much in every screen. Um, F5 to refresh the window. A lot of this is all going to be very useful pretty much throughout the entire system. If you need to go, page up, page down, you can hit home to go to the top of the record list. Um, Control J to get to jobs, Control B to get to bid items, Control T for prorates, Control S for summary sheet. And a lot of this you can actually see. I'm not sure if it'll actually show me, but let me see. If I go to, yeah, so if you see if I hover over it, it'll say Control plus J. So a lot of these menus already tell you what the hotkey would be or the keyboard shortcut would be. You just have to hover over it for a little bit. So summary sheet is Control S, rounding sheet is going to be Control R, and so forth. So that's kind of the idea here, is that all of these different little things, and I definitely welcome you guys to go here and look at them and try to find some that you feel like you'll definitely use. But there are a ton of good options in here just to make your life a little bit easier than having to go search and find some things. Yeah, that's pretty much it for today. I'll pause here for any questions on the keyboard shortcuts or the F1 feature, overall. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to use our Q&A section and fire them out.
Thank you, Jonathan. And just got about another couple minutes here. I'll wrap up and bring some of those screens back up on my end here that I talked about in the beginning. But again, if you do have any questions, you have up until we kind of wrap it up here in the next minute to put those in. I just want to remind you again of our software reviews that we're trying to gather from our customers. So if you're willing to enable, you can scan either of these QR codes or both and submit a review via Software Advice or SourceForge. And secondly, the other QR codes on the left-hand side is if you're interested in be part of our next customer spotlight. In the middle is suggestions for future webinar topics. And on the right is our customer referral program for anybody that you send in that we get aboard with SharpeSoft Estimator. We will send you a $750 gift card. Also, you will be emailed a recording of this webinar. So anyone that's registered will receive a recording. I believe we also include a survey. We do encourage feedback. In that survey, there is also a field to suggest topics as well there. So we greatly appreciate you joining us today. We hope you find value in these webinars, and we'll continue to do them for you guys. These also do get posted on our website, so any past webinars that we've done are also available to you. So everyone here at SharpeSoft, we wish you a great day, a great rest of your day, and we hope to catch up with you guys again soon and see you next month. Thank you and have a great day.